Assalamu alaikum. Let me introduce myself. My name is Saudah with student ID 242-010-6016 from the Master's Program in Mathematics Education at Universitas Muhammadiyah Purwokerto. I will present my article titled Problems in Critical Thinking on the topic of linear equation systems with two variables among students at SMP Muhammadiyah Larangan. Mathematics is often recognized as the foundation of various sciences due to its significant influence in many fields. In line with the opinion, Anwar, 2018, the important role of mathematics causes an increase in the need for students' mathematical abilities in learning. Critical thinking skills need to be possessed by students, because with critical thinking skills, students can develop thinking skills by finding ways and finding solutions to a problem, especially in mathematics learning. Solving the problems faced requires several skills to solve systematically, logically so that in drawing conclusions based on existing data. The skills of analyzing information, evaluating arguments, and making decisions based on existing facts are often called critical thinking skills, Asker et al., 2024. A person is said to think critically if a person is able to think logically, reflectively, systematically, and productively, which can be applied when making considerations in making a decision. Ratna Hidayah, Mo. Salimi, 2017. Method. This study uses a qualitative descriptive method to describe students' critical thinking skills on straight-line equation material. Samples were taken from students of Class 8A SMP Muhammadiyah Larangan using the purposive sampling technique, which considered certain criteria. The data collection instrument consists of a written test to measure critical thinking skills and interviews to delve into the difficulties faced by students. The data obtained from the critical thinking skills test were analyzed and grouped into three categories: high, medium, and low. Each category is represented by one respondent to provide a clear picture. Data analysis techniques follow the Miles and Huberman model, which includes data reduction, data presentation, and conclusion drawn. The results of the data presentation are presented qualitatively and equinned with pictures to facilitate understanding. Result: high category student, YN. The results of the settlement from YN show that the respondents did not experience difficulties in solving problems. YN starts by describing the Cartesian plane according to the point that has been provided, then adds a straight line at the intersection of the point as the direction of the highway according to the given problem. Next, YN performs calculations to find the gradient of the 2 points by writing the right formula and the correct calculation. Next, YN looks for the straight line equation, starting by writing the formula correctly and then doing the calculation correctly. The evaluation process is carried out by multiplying the gradient by the number 9 to get the truth of the problem that has been solved. The inference made by YN only writes down the magnitude of the gradient on the given problem. Next, medium category students, WF. The results of the completion carried out by WF showed that the respondents could interpret point A and point B in the coordinate system. Then the respondents carried out the analysis by writing down the gradient formula and calculating precisely. Furthermore, respondents can solve problems by writing down the formula for the straight line equation and calculations correctly. However, respondents indicated that they could not conduct an evaluation by re-examining the completed results and making appropriate inferences. And the last category is low category students, AI. The results of the completion carried out by AI show that respondents can interpret the problem in the Cartesian field, but it has not yet shown where the highway referred to in the question is going. The completion process carried out by DR directly places point A and point B in the Cartesian plane. Furthermore, respondents said that they could conduct an analysis by calculating with a gradient formula. The respondent was able to substitute the values of x and y in the formula, but in the final result the respondent made a mistake in the calculation. In point C, the respondent was only able to write the formula for the straight line equation, but did not show the exact completion result. Furthermore, in point D, the respondent does not show the results of the evaluation by rechecking whether the answers obtained are correct or not with the help of questions, so that the respondents cannot conduct an evaluation. At point E, the respondent did not show an inference on the problem properly. Discussion. In the high category, students have met 4 indicators, namely interpretation, analysis, and problem solving. This is in line with research, Fitri et al., 2023. This is because there are many students who do not write conclusions. There are only a few students who write conclusions correctly. Students only work on the questions until the evaluation stage. Inference indicators reach very low criteria due to the low ability of students in indicators to analyze and evaluate, which affects the low ability of students to make conclusions appropriately. Augustin and Effendi. For the medium category, they tend to have only 3 indicators of critical thinking, namely interpretation and analysis and problem solving. Respondents cannot solve problems properly because they are only able to interpret, analyze, and solve problems, but cannot make evaluations and inferences. This indicates that respondents have good basic skills, but lack in higher critical thinking skills, which are necessary to solve problems comprehensively. This is in line with research, Martirani and Apriano, 2023. And the last discussion. In the category of low critical thinking ability, they tend not to meet the indicators of critical thinking ability. This is in line with previous research, where students with low categories tend not to meet all indicators of critical thinking ability, Putri et al., 2021. In addition, the lack of optimal understanding of concepts will result in a lack of interpretation, calculations, and evaluation and inference in solving problems, Zaran et al., 2024. Conclusion. 1. High-category students did not have difficulties in solving problems, namely interpreting, analyzing, solving problems, and conducting evaluations, but students had difficulties in making inferences or drawing conclusions. 2. Medium-category students do not experience difficulties in interpreting, analyzing, and solving problems, but students have difficulties in conducting evaluation and inference. 3. Low-category students have difficulty in solving problems because students have difficulties in interpreting, analyzing, solving problems, evaluating and drawing conclusions in solving problems. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.